What is up, everybody? This is your boy Is Nefarious, and I'm here for another episode of Saints Row. This is actually going to be our 8th episode, I believe, and what I know for sure is that this week is actually falling on the bye week of the Saints Row season. So this is actually not going to have any game content. There's not really going to be any highlights. We're just going to dive into some team stuff, and hopefully find something that we could build off of by diving into that information. First, we're going to take a look at our standings. We get the NFC South standings here. We got the Atlanta Falcons, who are first with a 7-1 record. Haven't played anybody in the division, as you can see, with a 0-0 record. But they're making easy work of everybody else outside of the division. So we'll see exactly how they fare inside the division, but right now they're looking really, really good. Hopefully, one of us could, hand them a few losses between me, the Carolina Panthers, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But shout out to Noble, who is that Atlanta Falcons user with that 7-1 record. We'll see if anybody could catch him. Second place, we got the Carolina Panthers and league owner in JT. He is 4-2-1 with a 1-1 record inside the division. He played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers twice, gave him a win, gave him a loss. Hasn't played me or Falcons yet, obviously, but we'll see exactly how he does against me or the Falcons. I'm going to take a look at third place, which is going to be me with the New Orleans Saints. Is Nefarious with a 3-5 record and an 0-1 record inside the division. As you know, we lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a couple weeks ago, I believe, before the bye week. That's where our one loss comes from. It was actually 4 weeks ago. It was in week 5, so it was one of our first episodes. He's speaking of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He ends up in fourth with a 2-5 record and a record of 2-1 in the division. His 2 wins coming against me and the Panthers, and the 1 loss coming against the Panthers. If he was 3-5, he would most definitely jump me, and I'd end up in fourth. So, I mean, I'm in third right now. And that's just because I have one more game played than he does and one more win. Hopefully we could change that. I mean, we should be above 500. We are the New Orleans Saints. Nobody's really injured. Everybody's at 100%. So it's tough to say exactly what's going on. We got to figure it out, and we'll take a look into the offensive stats. Maybe that will tell us exactly what's going on. First, we're going to take a look at Drew Brees, who's through 8 games has 54% completion percentage, 1,665 yards, 10 passing touchdowns, and 23 interceptions. As I said, maybe we could figure out what's going on. And you can see there 23 interceptions through 8 games. That's almost 3 interceptions a game. So something's going to change there. That's a little ridiculous. It's all on me, basically. I got to do right by Drew Brees and make better decisions. Having a 1-to-2 touchdown interception ratio is not great. Usually you look for a 2-to-1 to be at least decent. 1-to-2 is not great. We really need to turn that around. Maybe there's some things we could do differently. Maybe run the ball more. That could be an option. We'll actually take a look at Alvin Kamara too. Through 8 games, he has 122 rushes, 758 yards, 5 rushing touchdowns, and a 6.21 yards per carry average. There you go. It's pretty much we gotta limit throwing the ball in the air if it comes down to it. I mean, he averages 6 yards a carry, so it's not like we can't use him. Maybe there's some drives we really can't go on because they're all over the run. But running heavy with Alvin Kamara should open up the passing game for us, and he should be number 1 option going forward to really limit the turnovers and hopefully turn this season around for the New Orleans Saints. he also makes an impact in the passing game, as you can see with 38 receptions, 270 yards, 7.1 yards per catch average per reception average, and he hasn't hit the end zone yet. But it's just a matter of time. If we keep feeding the ball, he'll most likely get to the end zone at some point. But he's making an impact in the receiving game. 38 receptions through 8 weeks, so he's getting about close to 5 receptions a game, just under it. So if we continue feeding him the ball, he should be, one of our main guys going forward. Especially since we can't control ourselves with the interceptions. We'll take a look at another option in the offensive game. We got Michael Thomas. As you can see by the stats, Michael Thomas is not having a good year. 25 receptions. He has 13 less receptions than our running back. 347 yards and one receiving TD. Hasn't hit the end zone enough. Only one touchdown through 8 games. And 347 yards through 8 games. So he's under 50 yards a game, that's for sure. I'm trying to think. He would probably be just over 4, I believe. Yeah, just over 4. So just in between 40 and 45, I believe, a game. I haven't really broke down that average, but he's point blank. He's got to be more involved in the offense. He is our best player. He has the superstar abilities. He has the X Factor ability. He should be an intricate part of the offense, just like Alvin Kamara. So we'll take a look right now at the team. So here you go. You got your New Orleans Saints. And as you see, Michael Thomas is injured, but we are further in the season, and we'll talk about that when it comes. But he's a 93 overall. You got Alvin Kamara at a 91 and Drew Brees at a 92. They all should be, performing really well in the league. Specifically, Michael Thomas. I mean, the interception thing for Drew Brees is more of a user thing than a Drew Brees thing, so it's not against him. Even Michael Thomas, maybe his underusage is a user thing and not really a him thing. We got to throw him the ball more often. We're gonna take a look at his some of his abilities though. So he's got the double me X Factor ability. Aggressive receivers overpower defenders and attack the football when they enter the zone. This ability increases their success rate on aggressive catches against single coverage. So basically, as some of you may know, and for the people that don't, double me is you gotta have 2 defenders on him when he reaches that zone. If you don't, he's gonna manhandle any one-on-one coverage that really comes across. I don't know exactly how that affects, if it's a superstar ability on the other side that kind of counters it. Don't know exactly how that works. But for double me to get it active, I gotta make I think 2 or 3. I believe it's 3. Actually, it might be 2. Make two 20-plus yard catches for Michael Thomas, and he's gonna enter that zone. So getting him into that zone is gonna be tough. But once he gets into it, I mean, it's gonna be tough to break out of it unless I fully go away from him in the passing game, because I gotta have 6 consecutive passes without targeting him. So I gotta, if I activate this double me, I literally gotta throw it the other way 2 or 3, 4 times for him to get out of the superstar ability. So when you activate it, you really want to feed him, kind of force feed him, but you do want to be aware of the double coverage. If he's still on single coverage, they haven't adapted to it and brought more coverage to him, then you're all set. But if they did, they opened something somewhere else, and maybe you stop moving away from them. But getting his superstar abilities and using him to his ability is going to be key for us, especially in a passing game. You take a look at his other abilities, his normal superstar abilities, not his X Factor. He's got cross specialist. Receivers with this ability run sharper routes and catch more consistently while running cross routes. So it's basically, if he's on a crosser and you throw it to him, he's gonna have higher catch rating. He's gonna have better success running a cross route than he is running anything else. But the tough thing about a cross route is with users using the middle of the field, it's not really the safest option. So his cross specialist is kind of a tough one. Um, but he also has wide receiver apprentice, which is a really good one, especially if you like to call hot routes. When lined up at any wide receiver position, players with this ability have access to four additional hot routes during pre-play adjustments. So basically, when he's on the line, he has hot routes that other wide receivers don't. So you got the basic drag, you got the basic deep deep comeback. You got the basic slant, the streak, the fade. You got your basic routes. I believe he has a post corner, a corner. I'm trying to think of the other one that he has. There's another one, but I can't think of it right now. But those are three different ones that he does have that other wide receivers don't. So that wide receiver apprentice is actually a pretty good superstar ability. So you kind of take one with the wide receiver apprentice and the cross specialist. All right. So you got to kind of got to deal with it. But bottom line is he should be more involved in our offense. Maybe that would help us with the pass game and help us not turn the ball over so much. But that's pretty much going to do it for that talk. We're gonna jump into our positions of need, which I've been doing for the past couple of weeks. First week we talked about the backup quarterback and potential starters. So Drew Brees is entering a contract year, and he's also close to retirement. Now I did indeed buy the retirement package as a coach for my quarterback, so hopefully that helps. Um, and then we could sign him, uh, but we'll see. I really haven't got a sure answer yet. I possibly won't know until free agency or after the Super Bowl, but hopefully he sticks around and we could use him at least one more year before we bring in Kyle Allen, who we've been building in the background for a while. We'll take a look at what Kyle Allen looks like at the end of the season to really see exactly how this whole season has helped him. Our next thing we talked about was the deep threat wide receiver, the wide receiver two that we went over last week. Ted Ginn's in the contract year this season. We're trying to look for younger options, better options. We talked about that in the last video, so if you want to see that, just go see episode 7, I believe. This week we're going to talk about the starting left guard. So we got Andres Pete, who's in his final year of his contract. He's our starting left guard at the time. He's a low 70s overall, as you can see there. 25 years of age. He fits the scheme, and all my free agent options that I have on this list fit the scheme. It wasn't picking and choosing. It was actually everybody that came up pretty much fit the scheme that was in a contract year. I mainly stuck with left guard options. I did not choose the right tackle, right guard, left tackle, center options that we could move to left guard. I just stood with left guard options to keep it simple. So far, best option is Andres P at 25 years old at 73 overall. Then you got Alex Lewis, who's kind of a second option, 27 years old, a couple years older, but he's also a 73 overall. So if Andres Pete actually somebody goes crazy and outbids us for Andres Pete, we're not gonna worry too much about spending that type of money on Andres Pete. Alex Lewis is a good safe option. Mike a potty, I believe it is Upati or some shit like that. I don't know. But he's from Seattle, 32 years old, so he might be regressing at the end of the season. But right now he's a 74 overall. Then you got the Bengals, Andre Smith, who's a 70 overall, 32 years of age as well. And then you got the Cowboys, Xavier Su'a-Filo, I believe, 69 overall, 28 years of age. All options that if kind of like if we're desperate options. All right, we don't have this option, we don't have this option, we might as well bring in this. And they also could be options. Those last three could be options if you know let's say I go into free agency, don't like what I see, lose Andres Pete, I could look for one of those guys on a 1 year contract to fill the role and go through the draft for an option. So we're gonna take a look at our draft options here. So we got Alex Leatherwood, who's a guard and a tackle for Alabama. Um, he is the number one ranked left guard at the time. Uh, he obviously is going to go in the first round. Just don't know where. I don't know off the top of my head, and I really can't look back on it. Um, so he's an option based on where we fall in the draft if we want to use a first round pick. But if we want to use the first round pick on more of a skill position, we could look at Ben Bredesen of Michigan for that left guard position. He's gonna fall in the second round, maybe late first, depending on how desperate teams get. Everybody's looking for offensive line help. It's pretty much the story every cycle, every season. Oh, offensive line. Um, so Ben Bredesen, he's scheduled to go in the second round. Hopefully he lasts to the second round and lasts to us. If so, that's a great option for us, especially as a second round pick, if we don't want to spend that first round pick on it. And then the last but not least, we got we got Ray Thomas Ishman. The reason he's on the list is for two things. He has decent stats in a very late round. I believe he's actually undrafted. He has pretty decent stats. I mean, not as good as Ben or Alex, but good enough where we could bring him in and hopefully he catches a good development, and then we got our starting left guard. But another reason that we put him on this list is because of the connection with Massachusetts. As you know, probably by my accent, I live in Massachusetts, and he is playing for UMass. So, kind of the connection there, taking in a UMass product, building them up, and you know, it creates a good story. Even though I'm the New Orleans Saints, not the New England Patriots, it still kind of creates a good story. The connection with the Massachusetts, and that's why he's basically on the list. He's kind of with on par with every other option I could have chosen, but I wanted to have a story to the last option. So that's gonna pretty much do it for this video. So our three options for draft options would be Alex Leatherwood, Ben Bredesen, and Ray Thomas Ishman. Then you got our free agent options with Andres Pete and Alex Lewis mainly our options, and then our fallback options. And basically, a sign that we are going through the draft is Mike Apati, Andre Smith, and Xavier from the Cowboys. But that's pretty much going to do it for our left guards. We'll talk about the starting middle linebacker, the number 2 starting middle linebacker, since we run a 3-4. Right now we have Demario Davis and Alex Anzalone. Maybe we can upgrade from Alex. He is a low 70s, I believe, or mid 70s guy. Hopefully, we could get a better linebacker and move him in with Demario Davis and make our defense a little better. After that, we'll talk about our starting strong safety. We got a few options there. But that's pretty much going to do it for this week. Hopefully, y'all enjoyed it. I know no game content, but I tried to give you something to think about, something to really look at with this content. Next week, we'll be taking on the Atlanta Falcons, so it's going to be a good one. Hopefully, we perform well, so it's not just a barn burner. But that's pretty much going to do it for this week. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you're enjoying the content. I hope you can keep continuing watching for the content, and I'll see you guys